Welcome back and welcome to the Current Reads. Every other Wednesday, we pick a different library to check in on and see what people all over our viewing area are reading. So far, we've been to 13 different places on both sides of the river, and this week, for our 14th stop, we're headed up north to the Bellevue Public Library. This is up in Jackson County, and this year marks 100 years of the Bellevue Public Library. Back in 1925, the first books were purchased with money raised by donations from the townspeople. Today, the library staff has grown to include one full-time director and 2 part-time assistant librarians. And joining us now with 3 books that readers in Jackson County are loving is the library's director, Mike Burris. Mike, thank you so much for being here with us.
Oh, I'm glad to do so.
I understand you just recently took over this job. What do you love so much about the library and of Bellevue so far?
Well, I actually downgraded. I love being able to actually go out and talk to all of our patrons as they come through. Previously, I was pretty much chained to a desk dealing with financial stuff, ordering supplies. Now, I actually feel more like a librarian here.
And you have picked 3 very interesting books, so I'd say you're filling your role great. Let's get started with those. This time we start with the children's book you pulled for us. Tell me about the book with no pictures.
Well, every parent knows that there are books that kids like to hear over and over again. Most parents are absolutely disgusted to hear Goodnight Moon one more time, or The Very Hungry Caterpillar. The book with no pictures is kind of in that vein, except that, when kids get older, you can give them The Very Hungry Caterpillar and tell them to read it themselves. The book with no pictures does not work like that. The book with no pictures is more like a conversation that the reader has with the child. Parents need to read this to their kids. And judging by what happens when I read it to preschoolers, kindergartners, second graders, in fact, I had a group of high schoolers come through last week. I had 3 of them giggling on the ground. This is a hilarious book. It helps kids feel a bit more of an equal to the reader. The book makes the reader very, very silly and shows them being exasperated since they're not in control. Kids can seriously relate to that, and they find it hilarious.
And I love that it's written by B.J. Novak, who I'm sure a lot of people know from The Office. But let's keep on moving up the age ladder. You chose a YA book for us called Evil Genius. What's this one about?
The main character has a genius IQ, fascinated with systems. He was found at age 7 because he just can't keep himself from hacking into computer systems. Well, he's brought into something called the Institute, and he's studying for his world domination degree, taking classes like embezzlement, forgery, misinformation, infiltration. But as he turns 14, he's starting to wake up to the moral and ethical implications of what he's studying and what he's doing. This is a very hefty book, and the world building is incredibly layered. There are so many layers of deceit and betrayal going on. But if you know how it ends, don't tell me, because I'm not all the way through yet.
Well, then let's move to your final book. I want to read a quote here. You were telling me earlier, it's currently popular, but probably for the wrong reasons and deserves to be read for the right ones. What is The Demon of Unrest?
This is a history book. It's very, very good, detailing the political, social, and economic climate as Abraham Lincoln assumed the presidency. And it's being hyped right now, kind of in an effort to make people be afraid as the presidency changes hands. The thing is that the more we know about the past, the less we are constrained to repeat it. So if we read it looking not for the similarities, but for the differences between now and the past, we're in such a much better place to make changes that benefit us and that do not lead to, neighborly violence.
Mike, I am fascinated by all 3 books that you picked today. It's the perfect weather to curl up with them. Thank you so much for your time and for being here with us.
Oh, I'm glad you asked me.
And for you guys at home, if you want to check out any of the books that Mike mentioned today, you can head over to our website and click on the As Seen on TV tab.